Well, howdy, greetings, friends and brethren. Paul Mays with you. I'm a Christian. It's good to see you. This message is for the Christians, members of the Lord's Church. I have noticed that some of y'all are listening to instrumental Christian music for entertainment. And I'm giving it air quotes because it's not Christian. It's not by definition following Christ. That's the definition of Christian is following Christ. It's not Christian to listen to songs that have a Christian theme, but they use instruments. Now, this is not going to be a thorough defense of why Christians sing rather than using instruments. Briefly, every scripture that governs Christian worship music specifies singing, literally none authorize playing, and whatever we do has to be because Jesus said so. Colossians 3:17. Every scripture that governs Christian worship music specifies singing, none authorize playing. We are governed by the New Testament. So, having said that, some of y'all are listening to, this is a request from an elder, not mine at my local assembly, but one from the meetings where I've been. We talked about it, and he said, hey, can you make this into a message? And I said, absolutely. It's needed. So some of y'all are listening to vain worship. I'm just going to make it blunt, be as direct as I can. Vain worship is what you're listening to, and you're deriving pleasure and entertainment from that. And that, to me, it's bizarre. I've got an analogy for that. What if a group were to pervert the avenue of worship that is the Lord's Supper? What if they were to bring in beef jerky and they were to make a show out of it, like make it entertaining, and we were to watch a weekly television show about people perverting that avenue of worship? It sounds just crazy, right? That would be crazy, because why would you derive pleasure from that? And that's exactly how we should feel about people offering vain worship to God. So there is no such thing as Christian music with instruments. If it's using instruments, it's not Christian. It's not following Christ to do so. And there's no such thing as outside of worship. I'm not saying that all of life is worship. What I'm saying is that worship is not a location. It is an activity. It's an avenue by which we reach God. God lays out how we are allowed to reach Him with avenues of worship. Lord's Supper, for instance. People are offering vain worship to God, and you're deriving pleasure from it. Now, this is addressed not directly, but the principle is addressed in Romans 1. The context of Romans 1 is sexual sin. However, the principle is addressed in the last part of, I think it's the very last verse, I think it's Romans 1:32. It talks about people who are practicing certain sins. In this case, it's sexual sins. However, the principle applies. These people that practice this sin, they are worthy of death. But not only those people, but those who give hearty approval to that sin. Giving your approval to the sin of other people is sin, even if you're not doing it yourself. It kind of boggles the mind. It boggles my mind. If you really boil it down, vain worship means it doesn't work. And what boggles my mind is that people could derive pleasure. How could you find it entertaining to listen to somebody try yet fail to worship God? How could that be entertaining? Like, what is good about that? That it actually makes me sad when I hear people who they love God in their mind. They think that what they're doing is pleasing to Him. They think they are approaching Him with their worship, but because it's not by the authority of Jesus Christ, it isn't authorized. It's in vain. It fails to reach Him. Matthew 15:3, 8, and 9 address this. These people, why do you transgress the commandments of God for your traditions? So that's textbook case of this. Is instrumental worship music is just that. It's going beyond what God said to do for man-made traditions that started in the 7th century with the Catholics, and then again with the Protestants around the 1800s. I don't understand why people would do that. Verse 8 and 9 say, these people honor me with their lips, but their hearts are far from me. In vain they worship me, teaching for doctrine the commandments of men. Ugh, we don't want this. We don't want it. We don't want to do that. Not only do we not want to do it, why would we celebrate? Why would we give our hearty approval, Romans 1:32, to the sin of other people? people are trying yet failing to worship God. Now, why is that entertaining? Now, I'll address one common objection that I have received when expressing this, and I'll admit I'm in a minority here. I am among Christians. I'm in the minority on this. I think my reasoning is sound on this. I have received this objection. Oh, but that's way better than listening to songs that glorify sin like fornication or drunkenness, like on these modern country songs or modern pop or rap or whatever. Any other, any secular songs, meaning not of a religious nature songs. So you can pull the rug out from under that objection just like this. Oh, well, pot's completely fine since heroin's so bad. You see what I did there? Yeah. Just because songs that glorify sin like fornication or drunkenness or something like that exist, that doesn't all of a sudden make vain worship something that we should derive pleasure from. So I think I covered all of it. Let me make sure I got it all. We have no business celebrating vain worship. It's just sad. Oh, I do have more to this. Listen, if somebody does not get acceptable worship right, what do you think the chances that the rest of their doctrine is correct? Okay, what's the purpose of singing? Singing, teaching, and admonishing one another with psalms, hymns, and spiritual songs. Colossians 3:16. Ephesians 5:19 is quite similar to that. Teaching is the purpose of singing, one of the two purposes. So, praising God is the other. So if you're listening to an individual or group of individuals who are worshiping God, because that's what they're doing, and they are teaching while they are doing that, what are the chances that a group who worships God in vain, what are the chances of them getting the doctrine of Christ correct? 2 John 1:9, he that abides not in the doctrine of Christ has not God. He that abides in the doctrine of Christ has both the Father and the Son, is the rest of that. So the point of this is, if you've got a group that's worshiping God in a way that he has not authorized, and they get that wrong, worship in spirit and in truth, John 4:23 and 24, as we must do. If they get that wrong, what are the chances that they get the rest of this right? Okay, so they're going to be teaching you something in this song that's wrong. They're probably going to teach 10 things in it, and 7 of them will be right, and 3 of them are going to be wrong, and you're going to catch 2 of them. And the other one, it's going to get right in your head. Yeah, you won't even catch it. That's a distinct possibility with this. Not only that, if 3 of the things they teach in that song are wrong, you're listening to something being hammered into your memory over and over and over. You're getting false doctrine just hammered into your head over and over again, because that is the nature of music. That's the way God designed us. God's music is designed to be combined with the doctrine of Christ to teach the truth, and we remember the truth when we do that. That's the purpose of singing, is teaching. So you're going to be listening to error over and over again. I hope this is well received. I know this will be challenging. I know this will step on some toes. Think about it this way. We need to be tightening up constantly. And think about it this way. Is this some really horrible thing to have to give up? Nah. You don't, if you have in your mind that the only 2 options are songs that are about Jesus or songs that glorify fornication and idolatry and drunkenness and all manner of sin, then you haven't heard a whole bunch of songs, because I would say a good percentage of secular, non-religious songs are completely harmless. My name's Paul. I'm a Christian. I'm trying to do the best I can. I'm trying to serve our mighty, perfect God the best I can. I don't want to have anything to do with the unfruitful works of darkness, Ephesians 5:11, and that's what vain worship is. I don't have anything to do with it. I love you. I'm not trying to hurt anybody's feelings. I'm trying to get you to think carefully about what you consume. Put God first. Think about this honestly and carefully, and examine yourselves whether you be in the faith. Thank you for considering this.